Rocky on the Moon? That's so crazy. You are now listening to the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Welcome to the Hive. I'm gonna start doing that from now on. I am Lara Ziccardi. I'm your host for today, joined with me by Amanda Gaudiosi and Ashley Ramos. Before we start, today and tomorrow marks the start of convocation. Yay! Woo wee! I want a sound effect real bad. I want a sound effect real bad. Oh, I have a clap. That's a really long clap, I'll be honest. But congratulations to all of the graduates who are celebrating. We are literally so proud of all of you. This is such an amazing accomplishment, and we're so excited that you're getting to celebrate. Not only is it the start, it's also the first day of Pride Month. So happy Pride, everybody. As long as I'm hosting and I'm behind the board, you're going to be hearing from LGBTQ artists throughout this month because I like to do that. Now, before we get into our top news for today, we have a wonderful news update from Ashley. Ashley, can you hear us on the other side of Zoom?
Hi, yes, I can.
Yay! She can hear us this time. Last week we had a few technical difficulties, but not this time. No, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley, and I'm joining you on this Wednesday morning from 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. So, in Montclair news, Montclair held its annual Memorial Day tribute Monday at Edgemont Memorial Park with Mayor Sean Spiller serving as Master of Ceremonies. The Montclair Community Band performed prior to and after the ceremony, and the Montclair Police Honor Guard opened the program with the advance of colors and concluded the ceremony with the retirement of colors. In New Jersey news, a group of advocates and policy experts took to the skies over New Jersey's beaches on Memorial Day with a message from Governor Phil Murphy and the state's legislative leaders. Tell Trenton, don't forget us in the budget surplus, end quote. For many New Jersey, a statewide coalition of more than 30 advocacy and policy groups flew the banner over the beaches from Seaside to Sandy Hook. It was meant to draw attention to New Jersey's record surplus of more than the 12 billion, which include more than 3 billion in unused federal coronavirus relief money. And in international news, at least 11 people are dead and 20 are missing after Hurricane Agatha touched down in southern Mexico, causing dangerous flooding and mudslides. Governor Alejandro Murat said rivers overflowed their banks and swept away people and homes, while other victims were buried under mud and rocks. Murat said the deaths appeared to be concentrated in a number of small towns in the mountains just inland from the coast, but he said there were also reports of 3 children missing near the resort of Huatulco. And now for the weather. Lastly, for some weather, it is currently 63 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Today there will be a high of 71 and a low of 59. It looks like tomorrow there will be scattered thunderstorms, but we'll fall back into nice and sunny weather over the weekend with a high of 80 degrees. Thank you, and back to you, Laura.
I gotta say, it was really cold walking to the studio this morning. I had to put sweatpants on.
Haven't been outside yet.
It doesn't. There's a Weezer song.
Neither.
Yeah, there's a Weezer song called "Feels Like Summer," and I was walking here, and I'm like, "Wow, this does not feel like summer." But anyway, thank you, Ashley, for the news update. That was lovely, lovely. But now it's time for sports. Yep, I'm doing sports. I'm such a big sports fan. Go sports. So yesterday, the Yankees took on the LA Angels, and they won. I'm shocked. They won 9-1. Wow. That's so crazy. But not only do we have good news for the Yankee fans, we also have great news for the Mets fans because the Mets played the Washington Nationals and won 10-0. Today, the Mets are playing the Nationals at 11:10 and the Yankees are playing the Angels at 7:05. Before we get into the top news, I would like to say, why does baseball air at such interesting times? Like, I've never seen it so specific. It's like 7:05.
Yeah.
1:10.
It's like 7:04. Tune in.
It's out, and the wind has to be a slight breeze, and it has to be 65 degrees. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. I'm just kidding.
I know nothing about baseball, so
honestly, I don't either. But like, I like the Yankees. So.
Oh yeah. Well, they're New York, so we have to.
New York.
Ooh.
I know we're not by Philly, but like, would we be Philly fans if we lived by Philly?
I think some are. Like
Yeah.
people that are like down there might be Philly fans, but like people up here are mostly like New York fans.
Yanks.
Yeah.
It's
Woo.
funny with baseball because baseball, it's really kind of by location. Because like for
Yeah.
football, you're kind of all over the place. Like I see like a few like a Ram. I see like some of my friends are Rams fans. Some like my mom likes the San Francisco Giant, like the 49ers, not the Giants. That's baseball. It's just weird. But for baseball, it's kind of oh, like New
Yeah,
York.
that's true.
Yeah. Well, enough about sports because I really don't know that much about sports, but I'm happy to give sports updates. But now it is time to talk about something I found really interesting last night, and I would love, and I'm going to share it with you. And it's honestly really cool because science is just so cool, man. Science rules. So, North Jersey is becoming the hub of a COVID drug development. Whoa. So, major research institutions led by scientists at Hackensack Mirden Health's laboratory in Nutley are teaming up with new COVID-19 treatments. This was announced on Tuesday, and there are federal grants up to 108 million as the virus continues to mutate into new forms, because we're no stranger to this at the Buzz. When there's a new variant, we always make sure that you are informed. The partnership between virologists and drug makers aim to rapidly develop drugs that can be taken by mouth without a patient having to be admitted to the hospital. Their goal is to nimble through enough treatments that can respond to a rapidly changing virus, which can mutate into new variants that only take weeks to spread across the globe. Dr. David Perlin, director of Hackensack Mirden Center for Discovery and Innovation Laboratories, said, quote, "The goal is to develop and bring to the market in real time the next generation of an antiviral agents that can control the current virus, future variants, future coronaviruses, and the future of the pandemic concern." Dubbed the Metropolitan Antiviral Drug Accelerator, the program is being launched at a time when COVID is still spreading rapidly in the US and New Jersey, but physicians are seeing less severe illnesses, especially among the vaccinated. I gotta say, for North Jersey being almost like the hub of this is really interesting.
Yeah, I personally don't know, but I haven't seen or heard anyone that has had COVID in so long, I feel like, which is so weird because I feel like, it was a national global pandemic. Like it was happening and it was so big. And now I feel like I haven't seen anyone that's gotten it. I mean, I got it in January. I had the, what was that variant? I honestly forget now.
Was it Omicron?
Yeah, I had Omicron in January, but like after that, I haven't really heard of anyone getting it. But I mean, I guess it's a good thing if people are still getting it and there's still variants. And I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like what you're saying about, like I feel like people haven't gotten it. I feel like we've gotten used to it more so because this has been around for 2 years, upcoming 2.5 in like October, probably. Can't do math. This is why I'm a comm major. But I think we just adapted to it. And we got used to it being around, because I remember when this was around, we're like, oh, when's this gonna go away? And a part of me is like, you know what, we're gonna probably have to adapt to it. And that's just the way it rolls. But I'm really glad that scientists are doing the research so that people will not have to go to the hospital, because I remember when COVID was really at its peak in March of 2020, there were so many people in the hospitals. They had no room, they couldn't take anybody, and that was a really scary time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it continued as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it also continued into 2021. I think there was a new surge after December Christmas. But it's very worrying, and the fact that there is research being done, so they're taking the precautions so they don't have to go to the hospital, is really important, because I remember them being overflowed. And when I read Nutley, that's kind of like our neighbors here in Montclair. Nutley's just down the street, almost, kind of. But it's so weird how so many amazing things are being done within 5 minutes of you.
Yeah, that's definitely really cool. And I mean, I think it's a good thing because, the virus, as we've seen, has just been continually mutating and becoming other variants. So if that's going to keep happening, I think that, coming up with this drug could be good to, hopefully subdue this, or eventually stop it. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be an end to COVID. Like you were saying, we've gotten used to it. It's kind of like the flu now, or like a common cold. Like you'll get COVID. It's like, oh, I have COVID. But with things like this, it'll help us not to be as scared as we were 2 years ago. Like, oh, I have COVID. I could just take this and I'll be okay, which is nice to not have to be terrified anymore.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to get vaccinated. About like just PSA, just a PSA. Vaccination is so important, especially for COVID, because people think like, oh, vaccines, like, oh, like it's going to disappear. No, it's just going to help you not get COVID worse. And I keep repeating the same things because I don't know what to say, honestly.
Yeah.
It's important that we're bringing light to topics like this because COVID's not going away, like I said before, and it's important to have updates on it. But with that being said, we have more news for you. So Amanda.
Yes. So the Texas Department of Public Safety is correcting previous comments it made, stating that a teacher had left a door propped open that the Uvalde gunman used to enter Robb Elementary School prior to the shooting. Texas Department of Public Safety Press Secretary Erica Miller confirmed to ABC News that investigators have now determined that the teacher closed the door but did not lock that door. Law enforcement is looking into why the door did not lock. The clarification comes just days after Stephen McCraw, director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, said the teacher left the door propped open prior to the gunman entering the school. McCraw said during a press conference last Friday, quote, the teacher runs to the room 132 to retrieve a phone, and that same teacher walks back to the exit door and the door remains propped open, end quote. Not only that, records show that the Texas law enforcement official faulted for delaying the law enforcement response to a mass shooting in Uvalde recently completed active shooting training courses prior to the fatal incident. So I'm confused. Did she go back to this classroom to grab her phone and just left the door open?
I think she had it on her, to be honest with you.
Oh, so she just left the door unlocked. Were there children behind the door? Then
you see what I'm picturing, is it the outside door? Do you know what I mean? Like, did she close the outside door? Did she close the classroom door? Because I don't remember if classroom doors lock from the inside. I think they do, but you need a key or something. I haven't been in a traditional classroom in a while. It's been a while. Same. But I'm really
it might have been the exit door.
That's what I think it was. Yeah, because it just says, because this article is from ABC News and I'm just like skimming the ABC News article just to see if they have any more information that I missed. It says the teacher closed the door, but the door didn't lock. It didn't specify if it was it didn't specify if it was an outside door. So it has a map which has all the classrooms on it, and it has arrows, I guess, showing where this awful person committed this awful crime. And it's honestly a little confusing, I gotta say, because it doesn't really say. I think it was the inside door. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on it. But from what I can tell from this map, I think it was the inside door, like a classroom door.
And did they know that the gunman was already in the building?
Yes, because there's a lawyer who told the lawyer for the teacher said she came back. She ran inside to get her phone to report the accident. She came back out while on the phone with 911. And the men at the funeral home, I think, because the funeral home is right by the school, I think this is what I'm getting at. This is like what I'm getting at. And they were saying, oh, he has a gun. She saw him jump the fence and that he had a weapon. So she ran back inside.
Like, I don't know. That doesn't sit right with me. I mean, I think she did a good thing by calling the police. But at the same time, I feel like if they knew about it, she should have just stayed where she was and like kept the door locked, because obviously you don't want someone to come into the building and having the door open is just.
Oh, her lawyer also added, quote, she kicked the rock away when she went back in. She remembers pulling the door closed while telling 911 that he was shooting. She thought the door would lock because the door is always supposed to be locked. So I think it was the outside door. I love how we're we're
trying to figure this out.
I really do think it was the outside door. And it would make sense for the outside doors to lock by themselves, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I don't think what she did was on purpose. Obviously, it was like a fight or flight, like grab my phone, let me call the police and figure this out. I'm in a school filled with children, but still, I think you need to make sure that door is locked. It's so
It's such
tragic.
it's such a scary situation to be in. And I could never imagine I you can never imagine like what you do in that situation.
No.
And it's so sad that the door didn't lock when it was probably supposed to.
For sure. And I feel like what's even more sad is now like our generation and definitely like the generation coming up, we have to think and like predict like what we would do and come up with like strategies and exit plans of like what we would do if a gunman comes into our school. And it's so sad that we have to do this. I mean, I've been doing this now since seventh grade. I remember when I like started middle school, they really started implementing these lockdown drills. But now more than ever, I know it's going to be even more of a bigger thing. And it's just so sad that our generation really just has to be worried about something like this.
And it's also sad that kids now are so desensitized when this is not normal. This is absolutely this should not be happening.
Yeah.
I also would like to know, like, I feel like there's a lot more security in schools now, more than ever. And I'm really wondering why like a security guard didn't check the door, maybe. Or did they
Oh,
have
for
security? I'm not sure if they had security at that time, but if they did, it would make sense for like them to be by the door, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how all schools around like America work. I know how my high school operated, and we had one security guard in our school. And we had a pretty small school. I mean, I had a class of like 148 students, a graduating class. So like we didn't really need that many people, but still with big schools, I feel like now more than ever, it's sad to say, I think we need more security and we need proper protocols with entering these elementary school, these high schools. We shouldn't just have people able to so easily walk in with
Yep.
no problems. We definitely need more security for sure. And it's so sad to say because school is supposed to be a safe learning environment, a place for students to go if they don't feel comfortable at home, if they don't feel comfortable, they have this place so they could learn and they could grow. And it's sad that now they have to be scared at school.
Mhm.
It really breaks my heart. I hate that this is happening to America. I wish there was something we could do to stop it and fix it.
Honestly, I feel like it's up to our generation to fix this because it's sad that nobody in power is really doing anything to fix this because it's sad. It's so sad. And I hope that these families can heal from an awful time like this and all of America can really heal from a time like this. But with that being said, we're going to take a very short break here on the Morning Buzz. Make sure to stay tuned to hear more news and eventually weird news because we got to lighten the mood. So, anyway, we'll be right back.
This is another National Wildlife
Zoom. Hi, Zoom. Anyway, welcome back on the Buzz. We have more news to deliver you, and we are going to be talking about gas prices. Yes, that is right. So, New York is suspending its gas ban on June 1st, which is today, by the way. So, the question is, will Jersey drivers, such as us, cross the border of New York to get their gas? The days of New Jersey having the cheapest gas are gone. It's been gone. And now that New York has announced that it will suspend its tax on gasoline, New Jersey residents could be paying a lot more than their New York neighbors. The average price of gasoline in New Jersey is currently $4.75 per gallon. This is a little cheaper than the price of gas over at the border at a gas station in New York State, which is $4.89 per gallon. But this will change starting Wednesday, aka today. New York will officially suspend its gas tax through June 1st through the end of 2022. Is it expected to save drivers about 16 cents per gallon? New York legislators said that this will also lead to a $600 million in savings for New York residents. The legislation also allows individual New York counties to reduce their local gas taxes. For example, Rockland County, which is just a mile or two from New Jersey's border, has capped the local sales tax at $2. This means that only the first $2 of gas is going to a vehicle's tank will be taxed on a county level, and this will run through February. But again, we live in New Jersey. We don't live in New York, right? The Murphy administration pointed to propose a state budget that prioritizes affordability for residents in other ways, including property tax relief programs and increasing funding to schools. So I want to ask the question to my girlies on Zoom. Will you go to New York to get gas?
Well, I live an hour away from New York. I don't really live close to the schools, so I will not be doing that, especially because my car is so bad on gas.
What do you have?
I have a 2001 Lincoln Continental. It was my dad's car, and then it was my younger brother's car, but then he bought a new one, which is better on gas. So now I have that car because my old car broke down, but that car was a Volkswagen Jetta, and that was so good on gas. Like, I wish I still had her because she was so good on gas. I remember when I would fill in my tank, it'd be like $28 to fill. It was amazing.
European cars.
Yeah, I know.
European cars.
I could only imagine, like, back then, that tank would fill like $28. I could imagine now, though, what it would be like, probably like
it's probably
40. Double. And my car now is like 60 to fill. And it's just this little car. I'm like,
it's a sedan?
Or this is going to sound so bad, but I don't even know what that is.
Okay. So do you know what an SUV is? Like a sports utility vehicle, like a kind of like a Subaru Outback. That's the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like an SUV, and then a sedan is more like a Honda Civic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like small. I mean, it's like a long car. I don't even know. I just drive it.
Fair enough. Ashley, do you drive?
I do not have a car. I'm actually an Uber girl. I take Ubers everywhere.
Honestly, with gas prices, I wonder. So, I have a question for you. Are Ubers cheaper? Like, were Ubers are probably cheaper back then. Have they gone up in price, especially because of gas?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it also depends, what time you get the Uber and everything. I always try to like wait like right around this time. People aren't really driving. Like, this is the cheapest. But no, yeah, for sure. But I am planning to get a car in like 2-3 months.
Yay!
So I definitely got to start looking into those prices for the gas.
Yeah, gas is so expensive. I remember. So I drive a Chevy Cruze. My American car. She's great. I love her. I complain about her sometimes, but I really do love her. She's great. Back when I was a senior in high school, so that was about 2 years ago. This was 2020, 2019. I was able to get a full tank of gas for $20. But now it's closer to like 40 and 45. It's crazy how it just doubles. It's so I'm only 20 years old. I would like to emphasize that, but I feel old. I feel old watching these gas prices go.
These dang gas prices.
It was funny. My grandpa's birthday is in 7 days, but my family and I went to go celebrate. And I remember he's like, the year I was born, a tank of gas was 20 cents a gallon. I think. Yep. And that's just, it's crazy how money works. It's so insane how money works. But before we move on, I want to say something. Who looked at paper and coins and said, "This is valuable. This is what we trade with." It's paper. Theoretically, it's paper.
So, and it's so crazy because I feel like, it's sad, but I feel like our entire lives is just built around making money to survive. And if you want to have a happy and fun life, I know I could talk about this for so long because it's like, if you want to like be happy and be, content with your life, then you have to be successful and you have to make a lot of money so you could afford good things and do all these fun things in your life. And if you don't have a good job and you don't make good money, then you can't even afford things such as gas to drive your car to this said job. And it's frustrating.
But you have to enjoy this job. You have to like it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's just the way we as a society it gives me a headache, honestly. And this is a sign for us to move on. So Amanda, whenever you're ready, girlfriend. I'm angry. Just a little. I'm a little angry. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm still angry.
Me too.
I'm just over here. I'm over farther now.
Lara's just backing further and further away from the mic.
Grr.
All right, so the Supreme Court blocks Texas law banning social media companies from censoring users. The Supreme Court on Thursday blocked a Texas law that would ban social media companies from removing users and the content they post because of a particular viewpoint expressed. The court did not elaborate on the decision, which is temporary while legal challenges proceed through lower courts. Chris Marchese, an attorney for NetChoice, the industry trade group representing Meta, TikTok, YouTube, and others, in a statement said, quote, "We are relieved that the First Amendment, open internet, and the users who rely on it remain protected from Texas unconstitutional overreach," end quote. NetChoice says the law, which took effect earlier this month, would effectively force social media platforms to disseminate. Yeah,
you got it, girl.
Good. Dangerous content, including propaganda, hate speech, and threats of violence in violation of their First Amendment rights. Republican sponsors of the law, the first of its kind in the country, say the measure is meant to end alleged censorship of conservative users on the social networks, which they argue are modern-day public squares.
I'm going to bring up our first president of the United States, General George Washington, where he said there should not be political parties. Well, look at that. 250 something years later, he's right. He is 100% correct. It's always not to be like that person, but it's the Republicans. Not gonna lie. Most Republicans, the conservative Republicans.
Yeah, I just wish, and this would be a perfect world if we all just got along.
But I'm still, you know what? I'm even more angry. Why can't we all just get along? Why? But you know what? The Supreme Court doing something kind of right, TBH.
Yeah, right. I feel like with all of the stories we've done, over my time here on the Buzz, it's always something super controversial and just something super terrible. But they're kind of doing something. They're onto something. No words. No words. No words. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but the espresso that's rushed to my brain's wow. But they would ban social media companies from removing users because of a post, because misinformation, stuff like that. Do you know? I think I know why they're upset. It's because they themselves are putting out that said content and they don't want to get removed. Exactly.
It just
literally. And
but what Republican is on TikTok? Let me know.
I've seen
Stop.
Sometimes on my For You page, there'll just be a random video that trickles in of and I'm what is this? This is definitely not for my For You page. I'm very confused.
Amanda, I know what it is.
Yeah,
it's
that
a jump
song.
scare. It's a jump scare. It's a jump scare.
It's a jump scare. No, there's like, I remember this trend, and it was like do you remember it was like the real women?
Oh no! No!
That used to just come on my For You page sometimes. I'd be
Real
like, why
women.
is this here?
And for those of you who don't know, who are not on TikTok, there's a sound that people use. So on TikTok, you use sounds that you can make their own videos on, but not have your own audio. And this one particular sound is "Real Women Vote for Trump." And
Yes.
Amanda got a video that was unironic. You
Yeah,
poor
no,
thing.
I thought it was ironic at first, and I was like, oh, okay, this is like kind of funny. But then I clicked on the account. I was like, oh my God, this is not ironic at all. This is real.
That's when
and
I use
sad.
TikTok's not interested feature.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Not interested.
But with that being said, I'm gonna get more angry, so it's time to move on. Before I said that I wanted to play LGBTQ artists throughout the month of June, and I'm really going to try to do that because I really want to shed light on these artists because I really enjoy them. So this is Girls by Girl in Red, because happy Pride Month, everybody. Let me turn the fader on first. An artist that I really, really enjoy, and I'm glad that I got to play her for you today. It is the second half of the morning buzz, the summer morning buzz. And you know what that means. It's time for weird news. Or on the script is what they're called, kickers. Now, so here's the tea. Atwood responds to book bans with an unburnable edition of The Handmaid's Tale. Right-wingers claim some books are unsuitable for school libraries, and the whole banned book thing, and that we've learned throughout our schooling career. But regardless, author Margaret Atwood has announced an unburnable edition of her most famous novel, The Handmaid's Tale. Atwood appeared in a short YouTube video to announce the project, attempting to flambe one of words are hard. One of her copies of the flamethrower. Interesting. Announcing the book, Penguin Random House said, quote, "Across the United States and around the world, books are being challenged, banned, and even burned. So we created a special edition of a book that's been challenged and banned for decades and bound using fireproof materials in this edition of Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. And it's made to be completely unburnable. It is designed to protect this vital story and stand as a powerful symbol against censorship. The Handmaid's Tale tells the story of Offred, not her real name, the fake name that she's given herself by the new regime, in a post-parallel America of the future, and her role as a handmaid. Handmaids are forced to provide children by proxy for infertile women of a higher social status, which are the wives of the commanders. They undergo regular medical tests and in many ways become invisible in the sum of total of the words. I'm really stumbling over my words. I'm sorry. The sum total of their biological parts. According to the American Library Association, The Handmaid's Tale is among the books often most challenged or banned in U.S. schools. The auction of the unburnable edition of The Handmaid's Tale comes ahead of an unexpected ruling in reverse sight of the right to abortion to be handed down by the Supreme Court and the justices and all that. Her unburnable book is being auctioned in New York until June 7th, the 7th of June. When they put like the number in front of like the month, that threw me for a little loop. By mid-morning on Tuesday, the price stood at $40,000. All proceeds will go to support PEN America and its work to free expression. I gotta say, I think that most banned books should have an unburnable edition. Just saying. We live in a capitalistic society, right? So I was like, oh my God, this would be a great product. What if somebody makes an entire collection of unburnable banned books? So there'd be like Fahrenheit 451, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Handmaid's Tale, and it would just be in a whole collection. That'd be pretty cool.
True, but then I feel like they'll find other ways to destroy these books.
I know, it's kind of sad face.
Yeah, I've actually never read this story. I don't know if you have.
I haven't. I've been meaning to read it just because I feel so strongly about women's rights, and I really, really should read this.
Yeah, I know it's a show, right?
It is. It's a show on Hulu, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I've never watched the show or read the book, but now I'm like interested that it's banned, but she's making an unburnable copy. I would like to read it now to see like how bad it really is. It's probably not even bad either. It's just
I think the main reason of why it's banned is because it's talking about abortion, and it's talking about what's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. Dystopian. That's the word I was looking for. This dystopian America, and how women are forced to have children and take care of children. That's what it's about. It's kind of scary that we are almost approaching this fate, I guess. I don't know, this future, and it's because of the whole Roe v. Wade thing with the Supreme Court. And I really do think this is why it's banned, because it talks about women not having the right to choose.
Isn't that sad though that it's gonna get banned because of that? It's like we can't even have a book about women's rights, and this is a classic apparently, and they're just so quick to ban these things. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder what they want us to read. They're gonna just force like this propaganda into schools probably, and force things that the government wants us to read. I don't know. I could go on conspiracy theories because it's crazy. Like, I don't understand why they feel the need to ban books, especially classic books that have been around for generations and have never been a problem.
I agree with you. I'm gonna wrap this up with a personal opinion. I really do think this is one of the most well-known banned books in the 21st century, just because of its themes. With that being said, we have more news for you. That wasn't kind of weird. That was more of a just for your information.
Yes. Here you go. Some info.
Here we get weird, bro.
Yeah, now we're gonna get silly. So
Silly goofy.
now we're gonna be goofy. A woman tries her first proper meal after 23 years of only eating potato chips, which is a mood. But anyway, a woman who lived on a diet of cheese and onion flavored potato chips, sandwiches, okay, for 23 years has finally eaten a proper meal after being hypnotized, yes. Zoe Sadler, 25, of Coventry, England, has munched on Walker's potato chips and buttered white bread since she was a toddler. Okay. She scuffed 2 packs of her favorite potato chips every day for more than 2 decades after other foods left her feeling physically sick. She said, quote, "My mom and dad say I tried other foods as a toddler, but I always turned my nose up or refused to put them in my mouth. I usually had a bowl of dry cereal for breakfast and then a potato chip sandwich for lunch and another one for dinner," end quote. After developing multiple sclerosis 3 years ago, Sadler decided to improve her health and turned to a hypnotherapist, David Kilmurray, for help. After undergoing 2 2-hour hypnotherapy sessions, Sadler had been able to enjoy her first taste of fruits and vegetables alongside other foods. She also talked about how she is getting married next March. She said, quote, "I really don't just want to be eating potato chip sandwiches on my wedding day. Now I'm looking forward to planning our wedding day menu with my fiance," end quote.
I can't imagine if she didn't go to that hypnotherapist and she didn't do like the therapy,
Yeah.
and she was just eating the sandwiches on her wedding day.
Stop, that's hilarious. I actually couldn't even help but laugh. Like, imagine everyone's just having this nice fancy dinner. She's in her wedding dress. She's like, ram, 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 like eating this little this little chip sandwich. That is, I mean, I'm happy she's trying new foods, but also, how can you only eat potato chip sandwiches for 23 years? I feel like I'd get so bored.
I would. My gnat attention span can't handle. I get bored while eating. Like, I'll be like eating pasta and I'll be like, I'm bored. I think I'm gonna stop.
And same, but also for me, like I go through these phases where like one food just hits differently and I'm like, I just want to eat this. This is my favorite, but then I get so tired of it. Like I remember 2 years ago, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were my thing. Like I'd have one every night before I went to sleep for probably like a month. And then I was like, no, I hate this. And I haven't had one since. It's been 2 years. So I couldn't even imagine only eating potato chip sandwiches for 23 years.
I couldn't.
And how is she okay?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, is she good?
Yeah, is she okay? Because that's like crazy. You're not getting protein at all. I mean,
I was gonna say the cholesterol must be a little high.
Yeah, right. It's only these buttered potato chip sandwiches. Imagine those chips went out of business and those were the only things she ate. That would be terrible.
Stop. I gotta say, out of all the flavors, cheese and onion.
Yeah. True. There's so many other flavors.
Like, I'm a big fan of ranch chips.
I've never had a ranch chip.
They're really, I forgot what brand it is, but I got them from Whole Foods, I think. They're in like a blue bag. They were buttermilk ranch.
Oh, yeah, I've never had that. My favorite's salt and vinegar.
That's a pretty good one. All right. I can't talk about potato chips anymore. I'm a little starched. I tried to do a playoff word of parched, but it's fine. So a man was arrested for too many bird feeders. Yeah. It says Wayne County, but we don't have a Wayne County, New Jersey. And guess what? This is in New York. So the Wayne County Sheriff's Office reports the arrest of a Sawdust Point man following an investigation into an animal complaint in the village of Sawdust Point. Deputies arrested 71-year-old Donald Anal, the 3rd Street in the village of Sawdust Point, of unlawfully feeding wildlife. The charges stem from numerous animal complaints where neighbors alleged that Donald had an excess of 22 feeders on his property to feed wildlife. They also allege that this is a violation of the town's local ordinance, which they have the number and everything. It's 516B, like line 1. Donald was issued an appearance ticket and is scheduled to appear in town court at a later date and time to answer the charge. Imagine you have nothing else better. Well, okay. The question is, how many bird feeders are too many feeders?
Apparently 22.
I guess he's Taylor Swift because he's feeling 22.
I feel bad for him. I feel like he was just, he had a little hobby. He was just trying to feed some wildlife.
He wants to do some bird watching.
Yeah, and look at this. And now he's going to court.
He just wanted to bird watch. Because honestly,
Yeah.
I like birds.
Yeah, birds are cool. I have a bird.
You do have a bird?
Yeah, I do.
my
His name is Zeus.
I love that. It's funny. I actually had a wild parakeet 2 years ago. Yeah. So the story goes, I didn't have any bird feeders, so this doesn't really tie in, but this ties in with wildlife. So I walk outside. I let my dog out because I have a dog. And I see this parakeet sitting on this, like, my fence. And I went, oh my God, that's like someone's pet. So I grab her.
Oh.
And I named her Tinkerbell because she was like a green color. And I just had her for a whole year. And as the year went on, she just got more and more aggressive.
Oh.
Yeah. And my mom did some research actually. And she's like, did you know there's wild parakeets in New Jersey?
I didn't know that.
Right. So like they just fly around. So I had a wild parakeet for a year.
I kind of love that you just had this like wild animal, not knowing.
It literally looked like a bird, like a parakeet you get from Petco. Like, I'm not even joking. It was a time. She was mean. But
yeah,
like
birds can be like that.
But rightfully so. She was kind of wild.
Yeah, my bird's a little aggressive, but like he loves me. He's only nice to me. With everyone else, he's like aggressive and like get away. But he always sits on my shoulder. I love him.
I thought of something really cursed. So okay, do you know what fan fiction is?
I do.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, fan fiction is a type of fiction which is based around a franchise, which is movies, TV, books, about a certain character or certain franchise, whatever. So there's a bunch of tropes about fan fiction. There's enemies to lovers. This is book tropes too, but this really goes for fan fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said he likes me and nobody else, that gave me the bad boy who has a soft spot for his girl.
It's my bird.
So there's a fan fiction series called After, which is actually turned. I know Amanda knows what I'm talking about. It was based around a Harry Styles fan fiction. And it was written. The author changed the names and everything, and now it's a movie series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was giving me the Harry. That was giving me the Harry Styles in that series. I never read it. I just watched the movies, which are terrible in my opinion. But that's just what it gave me. Oh my God, he gaslights her all the time. Like all the time. It's just like this. We as a society and we as women are taught up and we watch in movies and media and TV about men just gaslighting. TBH.
Literally.
It's all the media's fault.
Facts.
It's all the media's fault. Because I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my God. Like, what? She could just leave. But she doesn't.
Because it's Harry Styles.
It's Harry Styles, but if you buy him from Walmart.
Yeah, true.
That's really, really. I just thought of a movie quote from the second one, and it was absolutely ridiculous, but I can't say it on air, which is kind of sad face. Yeah. What my ranking of the After series, 2 out of 10. She could. I get it. It's like hard to leave in a relationship. Like I get it. I was in a situation like that. But like you could just once you leave. But like you go back, then you're like, no, he's like so sweet. Honey Pie, he's been gaslighting you for 3 movies now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, they have to continue the franchise somehow. So
they have to make money. We as a society live in a capitalistic society. Anyway, I physically can't. I can't do it. I need to move on. I need to stand up.
Yeah, we'll talk about more animals.
Yeah.
Woo.
Whoa.
So Actually, this is a crazy story. I was reading it over before. This is wild. So the New York High Court is to determine if Bronx Zoo elephant is a person. You heard that right, folks. New York's highest court discussed if a basic human right can be extended to an animal last Wednesday. The advocates at the Non-Human Rights Project say yes. Happy is an autonomous, cognitively complex elephant worthy of the right reserved in law for a person. The Bronx Zoo, where Happy resides, says no. Through an attorney, the zoo argues Happy is neither illegally imprisoned nor a person, but well cared for and respected as the magnificent creature she is. Happy has lived at the Bronx Zoo for 45 years. The State Court of Appeals heard arguments over whether she should be released through habeas corpus proceeding. Habeas corpus. Okay, perfect. So we're using this knowledge because I had no idea what that word was. Which is a way for people to challenge illegal confinement. The Non-Human Rights Project wants her moved from a 1-acre prison, quote, at the zoo to a more spacious sanctuary. Project attorney Monica Miller told the Associated Press ahead of the oral arguments, quote, she has an interest in exercising her choices and deciding who she wants to be with and where to go, and what to do and what to eat. And the zoo is prohibiting her from making any of those choices herself, end quote. The group said that in 2005, Happy became the first elephant to pass a self-awareness indicator test, repeatedly touching a white X on her forehead as she looked into a large mirror. The zoo and its supporters warned that a win for advocates at the Non-Human Rights Project could open the door to more. Wow.
I have no words. Wait, so like she could vote.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what they're saying. I mean, if she's a person, why not?
But okay. The question is, we're debating if the elephant is a person, right?
Yeah.
So if the elephant is a person, then the elephant could possibly become a citizen of the United States. But to become a citizen of the United States, you have to go through a lot of testing, whatever. So I think the Bronx Zoo, I think the Bronx Zoo should give Happy the test. Like, I think it's like a test to become a citizen. I don't know. But I think they should try to make Happy a citizen of the United States.
I agree, actually. I feel like she could do a lot for us. I want her to advocate for us. She's magnificent. I love her.
Happy for president 2024 question mark?
Happy for president. I mean, she's old enough technically. She's 45, so she could run for president.
Oh my gosh, wait.
She would be the first woman president and the first elephant president, which is iconic.
When you said the first woman president, I went, we really it's been how long since we were a country? We just
Can you imagine though?
No, they won't elect her because she's a woman.
Yeah, but if it was a male elephant, he would be considered. He would be in the running.
I would agree. I strongly agree with that statement. What kind of world do we live in, to be honest?
I think that's crazy. Well, I mean, I think it's nice that they're trying to give her own freedom because they're saying she has choices of who she wants to be with and what she wants to do. And that makes me feel like she knows things. As
she should.
Yeah,
as she should. Honestly, just in time for Pride Month. She could be with whoever she wants.
Period. You know, good for Happy. Pride Month.
Happy's the new LGBTQ icon, question mark.
Amazing.
I can't. Happy Pride Month, by the way.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride.
It's Happy's Pride Month.
Happy's Pride. Oh my God. That's so crazy. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Jaws now. We went from birds to elephant to shark.
Yes.
Yay. So, as we all know, it is summertime, even though it doesn't feel like it because it's a solid 61 degrees outside. But the Jaws child star becomes police chief of Beach Town, where Jaws was filmed. So, you know, picture it. It's the summer of 1975. I wasn't alive. Great year, though. You know, it's directed by Steven Spielberg, stars Roy Schneider and Martin Brody. And it's about a police chief looking to take down a massive man-eating shark with the help of a marine biologist and a professional shark hunter. And it's set on a fictional island, which was called Amity Island. And the movie was actually filmed on Martha's Vineyard. Now, child star Jonathan Serrell is becoming the police chief of Oak Bluffs, a Martha's Vineyard town where Jaws was filmed. Him and his brother played two kids who were staged a shark hoax with a cardboard fin shortly before the actual shark, comes to the beach and does his thing. Serrell has been a member of the Edgartown Police Department since 1986 and was voted to the status of police chief on May 16th per the Vineyard Gazette. Ironically, Serrell charged a man with disorderly conduct for lying about having seen sharks in the area in 2008. The Edgartown Police Department does not let him forget his Jaws acting stunt. The PD shared a special social media tribute in 2019 to condone with the film's 44th anniversary, writing, quote, "Anytime we can show off the fact that Sergeant Serrell was in Jaws is a good day." That's so cute.
Yeah, I love that.
The one sentence that took me out was, disorderly conduct for lying about seeing sharks in 08.
Back in 08.
In 08, we had the recession and it was all bad and whatever. But hey, this man saw a shark, but he didn't. It was a lie.
I think that's actually really cool. He's just doing side missions now after his child acting career.
Yeah, I love how I know child actors really have it rough.
They do.
And now that he's living a pretty much normal life with a kind of normal career, I guess, that's kind of cool. You don't really see that because the child stars that do disappear, and I get it.
They do, but I think this is cool because he's now he's a police officer. He's the what is he, captain? Yeah, he's the captain.
Sergeant. Is he sergeant? He's sergeant,
chief.
I think. Oh, chief now.
He's the chief.
Now
he's a chief, but he could be I was in a movie, Jaws. That's pretty iconic.
I feel like his coworkers put up a Jaws poster. And I feel like they have a bunch of posters in their what's that place called?
Office headquarters.
Yes, thank you. I can't word correctly. The espresso is starting to wind down in my system. But I really do think they have his coworkers just bring him memorabilia. Be like, what's his name? Be like, hey Jonathan, remember when you were in that movie, movie? Yeah. Be like, yeah, that really underground indie movie directed by an indie director, Steven Spielberg. But I feel like they just bring him stuff. They just like to mess with him just a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that has been the Morning Buzz here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Once again, congratulations to all the graduates who are graduating today and tomorrow. It's a special week. Not only that, happy Pride Month. We love Pride Month. Anyway, you can catch us tomorrow, except it's not going to be me and Amanda. I don't think that's grammarly correct, but that's fine. Catch us same time, same place. Thank you always for starting your day with us. And this has been the Wednesday Morning Buzz, and the Hive is out.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper